Have you ever felt like you're constantly chasing money, running after opportunities that seem to slip through your fingers just as you're about to grasp them? What if I told you that you've been looking at wealth creation all wrong? What if abundance is actually trying to find you rather than the other way around? But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. Stay with me until the end of this video, because what I'm about to share might completely transform your relationship with wealth and prosperity. Think about this for a moment. All around us, we see evidence of abundance. The natural world overflows with it. A single apple seed doesn't produce just one apple, but a tree that bears thousands of fruits over its lifetime. The universe operates on principles of expansion and abundance, not scarcity and limitation. So why do so many of us live with a mindset of lack? Has this ever happened to you? You focus intensely on attracting wealth, following all the manifestation techniques, vision boards, affirmations, yet the harder you try, the more elusive financial freedom seems to become. There's a profound reason for this paradox, and it stems from a fundamental misunderstanding about how abundance actually works. Wealth, in its purest form, is energy, and like all energy, it follows certain universal laws. One of these laws suggests that what you resist persists, and what you chase runs away. This is why the constant pursuit of money often leads to more struggle, not more abundance. Here's the truth that most financial gurus won't tell you. Wealth has already chosen you. Yes, you reading this right now. Whether you're watching from bustling New York, serene Bali, metropolitan Tokyo, or somewhere in between, your location doesn't matter, because these principles transcend geographical boundaries. That's why I'd love to know where you're tuning in from. Drop your location in the comments below. The shift from chasing wealth to allowing it to find you requires a complete reversal in how you perceive abundance. It's about recognizing that you aren't separate from the wealth you desire. You're intrinsically connected to it. This isn't some airy-fairy concept, but a practical approach to aligning with prosperity. The question then becomes, if wealth is already trying to reach you, what's blocking its path? What beliefs, behaviors, or patterns are you unconsciously maintaining that create resistance to the very abundance you seek? Subscribe to our channel and join a community of seekers uncovering their authentic selves. Each video is designed not just to inform, but to awaken what you've always known at your core. Don't miss the next step in this journey of remembrance. As we dive deeper into this topic, I'll reveal the specific ways in which you might be unknowingly pushing away the prosperity that's attempting to enter your life. But more importantly, I'll share the practical steps you can take to. Money responds differently when you're desperate versus when you're magnetic. This is a fundamental principle most financial gurus never discuss. Think about it. When you truly need money, it seems to slip further away, but when you've trained yourself to operate from a place of certainty, it begins flowing toward you almost mysteriously. I've observed this pattern repeatedly in the journey of wealth creation. Those who make financial breakthroughs aren't necessarily working harder than everyone else. They've altered their relationship with money at a subconscious level. This internal transformation creates an entirely different external reality. The wealthy don't see money as something to chase or grasp tightly. Instead, they understand it as a natural resource that flows toward value. This perspective shift is subtle but profound in its impact. When you operate from a scarcity mindset, you're essentially telling the universe you don't have enough, and paradoxically, that very energy repels what you're seeking. What's fascinating is how this principle operates beneath our conscious awareness. Many people are working diligently toward financial goals while unknowingly broadcasting an energetic signature of lack. It's similar to trying to attract positive relationships while secretly believing you're unworthy of love. The hidden belief overrides the conscious intention. This isn't mystical thinking, but practical psychology. When you're desperate for money, you make decisions from a place of fear. These fear-based choices often lead to missed opportunities, undervaluing your worth, or making short-term sacrifices that limit long-term abundance. The revelations come when you recognize this pattern in your own life. I want to go even deeper into this topic by examining the actual mechanics of this energetic shift. The wealthy operate with a subtle knowing. They expect money to come to them, not from a place of entitlement, but from a genuine understanding that value attracts compensation naturally. This expectation creates a different decision-making framework where opportunities are evaluated differently. Think about how differently you'd approach a business conversation if you fundamentally believed money would flow to you regardless of this particular outcome. You'd negotiate differently. You'd present yourself differently. You might even walk away from deals that those in scarcity would desperately cling to. There's a fascinating paradox here. The less attached you are to money, the more it seems to find its way to you. This detachment isn't about not caring about financial success. It's about removing the emotional desperation that actually blocks the natural flow. The mindset shift transforms your entire relationship with wealth. What's particularly powerful about this understanding is how it impacts daily choices. When you believe money comes easily, you make investment decisions differently. You value your time differently. You structure your business differently. These subtle adjustments compound over time, creating dramatically different outcomes without necessarily requiring more effort. Behind every financial breakthrough is this hidden truth. The energy you bring to money matters more than the actions you take. This doesn't mean strategy isn't important. It absolutely is. But strategy, without the right energetic foundation, rarely produces exceptional results. Now, I want to show you how to begin cultivating this magnetic relationship with money that transforms your financial reality from the inside out. If this perspective shift is making you reconsider your approach to wealth, write "money flows to me" in the comments below. Speaking of your energetic frequency, I want to clarify that this isn't some mystical concept beyond your grasp. It's as tangible as your thoughts and emotions. Every time you feel anxious about money, every moment you worry about bills or feel unworthy of wealth, your energy field broadcasts this frequency. The universe isn't judging you, it's simply responding to the signal you're transmitting. These conversations are doorways to remembering your true nature beyond societal programming. If you felt that resonance today, subscribe to continue this journey of uncovering. Each video builds upon the last, creating a roadmap back to your authentic self. Join us for what comes next. What's fascinating about this transformation process is how our subconscious beliefs create our financial reality long before we see the physical evidence. Many of us are walking around with prosperity blockers installed during childhood, moments when we absorbed limiting messages like "money is the root of all evil" or "rich people are greedy." These hidden beliefs become the invisible architecture of our financial lives. I discovered this truth during my own journey when I realized I had been sabotaging my success without even knowing it. Despite working harder than everyone around me, prosperity remained elusive until I addressed the energetic misalignment within. The revelation wasn't that I needed to do more. It was that I needed to become more by shifting my internal frequency. The wealthy understand this principle intuitively. They maintain an unwavering resonance with abundance regardless of external circumstances. Even when facing setbacks, they hold that inner knowing that wealth is their natural state. This isn't arrogance, it's energetic alignment. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by explaining how you can practically shift your frequency. Your brain creates neural pathways based on repeated thoughts and experiences. When you consistently think thoughts of lack and limitation, you're literally wiring your brain to recognize and create more of those experiences. The good news? These neural pathways can be rewired through conscious effort. Start by becoming aware of your daily thoughts about money. Most people are shocked to discover how often they think negatively about finances without realizing it. Each complaint about prices rising, each moment of envy when seeing others' success, each worry about the future, these are all transmitting a frequency of scarcity rather than abundance. The invisible impact of your energetic state extends far beyond your thoughts. It influences how you carry yourself, the opportunities you notice, and even how others respond to you in business settings. When you approach negotiations from a place of lack, believing you need to grasp whatever you can get, others sense this desperation. Conversely, when you negotiate from abundance, knowing your worth and that prosperity flows freely, the entire dynamic shifts in your favor. This internal shift isn't about denying reality or pretending challenges don't exist. It's about holding a higher vision that transcends current circumstances. The wealthy don't ignore problems. They simply refuse to energetically align with limitation while solving them. This subtle distinction makes all the difference in your prosperity journey. What's particularly powerful about energy mastery is how it begins affecting every aspect of your life, not just finances. Relationships improve, health stabilizes, and creativity flourishes when you're no longer broadcasting frequencies of fear and scarcity. The wholeness of your life experience transforms because you're no longer fragmenting your energy with worry. If you're resonating with these insights about energy and abundance, write in the comments, "I'm raising my frequency," so I know you're committed to this transformation. Now let's explore how to practically apply these principles through specific daily practices that rewire your prosperity consciousness. This understanding of financial abundance goes beyond superficial techniques or magical formulas, presenting a profound wisdom. Thoughts and beliefs about money send waves into the quantum field, which eventually return as opportunities and encounters. What's fascinating about this process is how deeply it's intertwined with our subconscious programming. Many of us carry invisible scripts about wealth that were installed during childhood, perhaps hearing phrases like, "money doesn't grow on trees," or "rich people are greedy." These mental constructs create unseen barriers in our journey toward prosperity. The transformation begins when we recognize these hidden patterns. I've seen countless individuals shift their financial trajectory not by working harder, but by addressing their internal relationship with abundance. One client of mine spent years struggling despite working 60-hour weeks, only to discover he held a deep-seated belief that wealth required suffering. Once he identified and released this limiting perspective, opportunities seemed to materialize almost effortlessly. This isn't mystical thinking. It's a practical application of how our consciousness interfaces with reality. When we clear the mental static that blocks abundance, we become more receptive to the wealth-building opportunities that have always existed around us. We notice investment possibilities, business connections, and creative ideas that our scarcity mindset previously filtered out. The quantum field responds not just to our conscious affirmations, but to our entire energetic signature. This includes our emotions around money, our self-worth, and even the unspoken agreements we've made about what we deserve. That's why simply reciting positive statements about wealth often falls short. If your deeper beliefs remain unchanged, you're sending mixed signals into the universe. Consider how this plays out in everyday decisions. Someone operating from abundance naturally gravitates toward investments that appreciate, relationships that are mutually supportive, and work that provides both meaning and compensation. Meanwhile, those caught in scarcity, thinking often accept less than they deserve, miss promising opportunities, and make decisions based on fear rather than growth. What's truly remarkable is the ripple effect this creates. As your relationship with abundance evolves, you naturally inspire others around you. Your journey becomes a living demonstration that prosperity is an accessible path, not reserved for a select few. This creates a powerful feedback loop. As more people in your orbit embrace abundance thinking, collective opportunities expand for everyone. The critical revelation here is understanding that financial abundance isn't separate from your overall life path. It's intimately connected to your purpose, relationships, and personal development. Many seekers make the mistake of compartmentalizing their financial life, as if it operates under different rules than their spiritual or emotional well-being. In reality, these aspects are like different instruments in the same orchestra, each contributing to the harmony of your experience. Now, I want to go even deeper into the practical application of these principles. The space between conscious awareness and unconscious programming is where the most powerful work happens. When you encounter resistance around money, whether it's anxiety about checking your accounts, hesitation to charge what you're worth, or discomfort around wealthy people, you're looking at the edges of your abundance ceiling. These emotional responses aren't random. They're signposts pointing to the beliefs that need examination. If you've been resonating with these insights, write "abundance flows" in the comments below. I'm curious to see how many of you are ready to transform your relationship with prosperity. Many of us have experienced the frustration that comes from trying to force external change. You apply for endless jobs, hustle with side gigs, chase potential clients, essentially pushing harder in the material world, while nothing substantial shifts in your financial reality. This common disconnect happens because we're often operating from a misaligned internal frequency. Think of your energy field as a broadcasting station. If you're internally transmitting a frequency of lack, worry, or unworthiness around money, those broadcasts override any external actions you take. It's like trying to tune into a classical music station while your internal dial is locked on a frequency that only plays songs. About struggle. What creates true financial transformation isn't just strategic action, but a fundamental shift in your energetic relationship with abundance. When I realized this myself, my approach to money completely changed. Instead of viewing my bank account as a source of anxiety, I began recognizing it as a reflection of my inner abundance consciousness. The journey toward financial freedom isn't just about smart investments or career moves. Those are important, but secondary. The primary work happens in the unseen realm of energy and consciousness. This is where the real magic unfolds, often hidden from the conventional financial advice you typically encounter. I've witnessed this revelation impact countless people I've worked with. One client, struggling for years with persistent debt despite having a good income, finally experienced a breakthrough when she addressed the childhood programming she carried about money being scarce and dangerous. As her internal vibration shifted, unexpected opportunities, refunds, and new income streams began appearing in her experience. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring how specific limiting beliefs create energetic barriers to wealth. These hidden thought patterns operate beneath conscious awareness, creating a ceiling on your prosperity. What's fascinating is how these barriers dissolve once brought into awareness, often releasing years of financial struggle. The true journey to abundance requires examining these internal blocks with compassion. Many of us carry ancestral patterns around money, beliefs inherited from generations before us who lived through different economic realities. These energetic imprints affect your relationship with wealth today, even when they're completely irrelevant to your current circumstances. Understanding this internal dimension of wealth creation explains why two people can follow identical financial strategies with dramatically different results. 1. Person follows the steps from a frequency of confidence and deserving, while another implements the same actions from a vibration of fear and unworthiness. The universe responds not just to what you do, but to the energy signature behind your actions. This perspective shifts everything. Rather than exhausting yourself with endless doing, you can focus on becoming the energetic match for what you desire. This doesn't mean abandoning practical action, quite the opposite. When aligned action flows from an internal state of abundance, it becomes exponentially more effective. The revelation that changed my financial life forever was recognizing that abundance isn't something you chase externally. It's a frequency you tune into internally. When you adjust your internal settings to broadcast on the abundance channel, the external world has no choice but to reflect that back to you through corresponding circumstances. If you're nodding along as you hear this, feeling that deep resonance of truth, right frequency shift in the comments, this acknowledgement can be the first step in your own energetic realignment with prosperity. The intriguing aspect of resistance is how it tends to emerge just at the precipice of major breakthroughs. It's like standing at the doorway of your financial destiny, key in hand, and suddenly feeling an overwhelming urge to turn back. This phenomenon isn't restricted to wealth building alone. It appears in every transformational journey, revealing a deeper pattern within human psychology. When I studied the stories of countless self-made millionaires, I discovered a fascinating revelation. Nearly all of them described experiencing their most severe doubts, their most crippling fear, and their most persuasive reasons to quit precisely when they were one step away from their breakthrough moment. It's as if the universe conspires to test your resolve at the 11th hour. Think about the ascent of Mount Everest. Climbers don't face their greatest challenge at the beginning of their journey. The truly perilous section, the aptly named death zone, awaits them near the summit. It's in this final stretch where oxygen is scarcest, temperatures are most extreme, and the mind begins to play its most convincing tricks. Many turn back here, within sight of their ultimate achievement. Your wealth journey follows this same pattern. The resistance you feel when contemplating that investment, starting that business, or making that crucial financial decision isn't a warning, it's a threshold guardian. This guardian doesn't exist to stop you, but to ensure you're truly committed to the prosperity that awaits on the other side. What's particularly illuminating is understanding the root of this resistance. Our brains are wired for homeostasis, maintaining the status quo. Any substantial change, even positive change, registers as a potential threat to our subconscious mind. This creates a paradox where the closer we get to transformative wealth, the stronger our internal alarm bells ring. The hidden truth that separates those who achieve financial independence from those who remain stuck is not their starting resources, connections, or even knowledge. It's their relationship with resistance. The wealthy have learned to recognize resistance as a signpost rather than a stop sign, an indication they're moving in the right direction rather than a reason to retreat. Consider the entrepreneur who faces her most significant setback right before securing major funding, or the investor who experiences his greatest moment of doubt before making the investment that multiplies his portfolio. These moments of intense resistance aren't coincidental. They're predictable milestones on the path to prosperity. What's particularly fascinating is how this resistance manifests differently for each person. For some, it appears as logical-sounding excuses. The timing isn't right, or I should do more research. For others, it emerges as physical symptoms, sudden fatigue, headaches, or insomnia when working on wealth-building activities. And for many, it takes the form of convenient distractions that pull attention away just as momentum builds. Your individual resistance pattern reveals your unique relationship with wealth and success. By identifying your particular resistance signature, you gain unprecedented power to move through it rather than being stopped by it. This awareness transforms what was once an invisible barrier into a navigable landscape. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring the practical strategies that allow you to not just recognize resistance, but to use it as fuel for your financial advancement. Understanding that resistance increases as your potential for wealth grows provides a completely different framework for interpreting obstacles. If you've experienced this phenomenon of hitting internal roadblocks just when you're about to level up financially, write in the comments, "I've felt this resistance." Financial delay isn't just a frustrating waiting period, it's actually an essential training ground for your energetic capacity to handle abundance. Think about it this way. Would you hand a 500-pound barbell to someone who's never lifted weights before? Of course not. They'd be crushed under it. The same principle applies to wealth. Many people wonder why their financial manifestations seem delayed when they're doing everything right. The universe isn't punishing you, but it's preparing you. This preparation phase is where your energetic muscles develop the strength needed to not just attract abundance, but to sustain it when it arrives. I've seen this pattern repeatedly with clients who suddenly receive windfalls, lottery winners, inheritance recipients, or even successful entrepreneurs who scale too quickly. Without the proper energetic foundation, that money often disappears as mysteriously as it arrived. The statistics are sobering. Nearly 70% of lottery winners end up broke within 7 years. This isn't bad luck, it's energetic incongruence. Every financial challenge you face serves as resistance training for your wealth muscles. When you struggle to pay bills, you're developing the focus and resourcefulness that wealthy people employ daily. When you make sacrifices to invest rather than consume, you're cultivating the delayed gratification that sustains generational wealth. These aren't punishments, they're preparations. The transformation happens on multiple levels. First, your identity must expand to accommodate greater abundance. If you've always thought of yourself as just getting by, suddenly having excess requires a complete rewiring of self-concept. Second, your management systems, both practical and psychological, need development. Managing $10,000 is vastly different from managing $10 million. The universe won't deliver what you can't effectively steward. Think about the hidden truth behind most overnight success stories. When you dig deeper, you almost always find years of preparation, failed attempts, and critical learning experiences that created the foundation for eventual success. What looks like sudden abundance to outsiders was actually a carefully orchestrated journey of energetic development. The impact of this perspective shift can be profound. Instead of resenting financial delays, you begin to appreciate them as evidence that bigger things are coming. Once you're ready to handle them properly. This doesn't mean passively waiting. It means actively building your capacity through financial education, emotional regulation around money, and creating proper structures. Behind the scenes of every wealthy person is this same developmental arc. They either experienced it personally or they'll soon face the consequences of bypassing it. Those who inherit wealth without developing capacity often become cautionary tales. The revelations that emerge from understanding this process change how you view your entire financial journey. So what can you do while in this preparation phase? First, recognize it as valuable rather than frustrating. Second, actively build your wealth mindset through education and association with those already where you want to be. Third, practice managing whatever resources you currently have with excellence. The person who can't properly manage $1,000 won't suddenly develop the discipline to handle $1 million. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring the specific energetic blockages that might be preventing your financial expansion. These often operate completely outside your conscious awareness, yet they exert tremendous influence over your wealth journey. Understanding these hidden mechanisms allows you to work with them rather than being perpetually frustrated by their effects. If you're following along and this explanation of financial delay as energetic training resonates with your experience, write in the comments, "I'm in training mode," because recognizing where you truly are in the process is the first step toward accelerating your progress. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic of faith as a quantum state of being. When we truly understand faith as energy constantly emitted into the field around us, we begin to recognize the profound transformation that happens in our daily experience. It's not just about believing something might happen someday. It's about radiating a frequency that makes manifestation inevitable. Think about how water naturally flows downhill. It doesn't struggle or force its path. It simply follows the natural law of gravity. In the same way, authentic faith creates a gravitational pull between you and your desires. But here's the hidden truth many spiritual teachers miss. This state can't be manufactured through affirmations alone. It emerges when you've integrated the belief at such a deep level that doubt becomes as foreign to you as doubting the sun will rise tomorrow. The journey toward this state often includes moments of revelation where your old perceptions simply fall away. I remember working with a client who had spent years reciting positive statements about abundance while secretly harboring deep financial anxiety. The breakthrough came not when she found the perfect affirmation, but when she recognized how her energy field was contradicting her words. The moment she aligned her energetic broadcast with her stated desires, opportunities began appearing with such timing that coincidence couldn't explain it. This is the distinction between performance-based spirituality and embodied knowing. When faith becomes as automatic as breathing, you're no longer trying to convince the universe of anything. You're simply in resonance with it. The quantum field doesn't respond to what we hope for. It mirrors what we are. Behind the scenes of every seeming miracle is actually this principle at work. The person who experiences synchronicities, perfect timing, and seemingly magical connections isn't luckier than others. They've simply mastered the art of energetic coherence. Their internal state broadcasts a clear signal rather than the static of contradiction most people unknowingly emit. What's fascinating about this approach is how it impacts decision-making. When operating from embodied faith, choices become intuitive rather than calculated. You move through life with a strange combination of surrender and empowerment, surrendering the need to control every outcome while feeling empowered by your connection to something greater than yourself. The mindset shift required here is subtle but profound. Instead of seeing faith as something you do, recognize it as something you are. This distinction changes everything. It removes the exhausting work of constantly trying to believe hard enough and replaces it with an effortless state of knowing. Your energy field automatically aligns with possibilities that match your genuine frequency. I've observed that people struggling with manifestation are often caught in a pattern of energetic contradiction, mentally affirming one thing while emotionally broadcasting another. The universe doesn't respond to our words or even our conscious thoughts. It responds to our energetic signature. When that signature becomes coherent, life seems to conspire in your favor, not because you've become better at asking, but because you've become clearer at broadcasting. If this perspective on faith as an energetic state, rather than a mental exercise, resonates with you, write energy over effort in the comments. Now, let's explore how this understanding changes our approach to challenges and obstacles. This murky pond inside us is exactly what holds so many people back. Imagine looking at the night sky reflected in water. When the water is clear, the stars shine beautifully. But when the water is clouded with sediment and debris, those same stars become distorted or invisible altogether. That's precisely what happens with your financial energy. Most of us have been conditioned to believe that achieving financial abundance requires pushing harder, working longer hours, and forcing our way through obstacles. But this approach often leads to a perpetual cycle of struggle. Why? Because we're operating from that murky internal state, a combination of limiting beliefs, unresolved emotions, and energetic blocks that distort our relationship with money. The true transformation begins when you understand that abundance doesn't respond to force. It responds to space. Think about how water flows in nature. It doesn't push against rocks. It simply finds the path of least resistance. Wealth operates on similar principles. When your internal energy is heavy with doubt, fear, and scarcity thinking, you're essentially creating a dam that blocks the natural flow of abundance. I discovered this reality during my own journey when I realized I was working increasingly harder, yet seeing diminishing returns. The breakthrough came not from another strategy or technique, but from a fundamental shift in my energetic relationship with money. I had to clear the murky waters within before the reflection of abundance could appear in my external circumstances. Here's what most financial experts won't tell you. The hidden truth is that your financial struggles have much less to do with your actions and much more to do with your energetic state. When you're operating from a place of heaviness, anxiety about bills, resentment toward wealthy people, or shame about your current situation, you're literally repelling the very thing you're trying to attract. The real work isn't just about changing your habits, it's about transforming your frequency. When you release the internal resistance, the heaviness that's been weighing you down, you create the perfect conditions for abundance to flow naturally into your life. This isn't mystical thinking, it's energetic alignment. Consider how differently you approach opportunities when you feel light versus when you feel heavy. In a lighter state, you notice possibilities everywhere, you communicate more effectively, and you make decisions with clarity rather than desperation. This shift in your internal landscape creates a corresponding shift in your external results. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring the specific energetic patterns that block financial flow and the practical steps you can take to release them. This isn't just about positive thinking, it's about energetic housekeeping. Just as you would clear debris from a stream to allow water to flow freely, you must clear the energetic debris that's accumulated in your relationship with money. The journey toward financial transformation begins with this fundamental revelation. The battle isn't out there in the marketplace, it's within your own energetic field. When you align your internal state with the frequency of abundance, you don't have to chase money. It begins to be naturally drawn to you. If this resonates with your own experience, write in the comments, "I'm ready to clear the pond." The transformation happens when one stops fighting time and instead follows the universal rhythm of abundance. I've noticed this in my own path with wealth. There's a stark difference between forcing outcomes and allowing the natural flow of prosperity to guide you. When you're in harmony with abundance, you stop checking your bank account every hour and instead trust that resources will arrive precisely when needed. Think about those moments in your life when financial breakthroughs seem to appear out of nowhere. That wasn't random chance. It was your energy aligning with the universal frequency of wealth. The universe operates through patterns, not chaos, and recognizing this brings a profound shift in how we perceive our financial journey. Signals from the universe, appearing as recurring Patterns and numbers indicate alignment with financial frequency, not just coincidence. I used to dismiss seeing repeated numbers like 111 or 888 as meaningless, but through deeper understanding, I recognize these as cosmic confirmations of being on the right path. These synchronicities often intensify right before a significant financial breakthrough. The hidden truth here is that wealth manifestation operates on two levels simultaneously: the physical actions we take daily and the energetic frequency we maintain consistently. Most people focus exclusively on the physical realm, working harder, chasing opportunities, networking frantically, while completely neglecting the energetic dimension that actually powers those physical efforts. I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring what I call abundance anchors, specific moments in your day when you can realign with prosperity consciousness. These aren't complicated rituals, but rather intentional pauses that recalibrate your relationship with wealth. For example, each morning before checking emails or social media, I spend 3 minutes visualizing myself as a channel for abundance. This isn't wishful thinking, but rather a deliberate rewiring of my subconscious programming around money. The journey toward financial freedom becomes more fluid when we understand that money itself is merely energy in physical form. It responds to our dominant thoughts and feelings about it. Notice how some people seem to attract financial opportunities effortlessly, while others struggle despite working twice as hard. The difference lies in their internal relationship with abundance. Those who treat money as a friend, rather than a scarce resource, create an entirely different field of possibilities around themselves. Behind the scenes of every wealth manifestation is a person who has first become wealthy in mind before becoming wealthy in reality. This internal shift creates what I call a prosperity vacuum that the universe naturally fills. When your internal belief system is aligned with abundance, external circumstances have no choice but to reflect that alignment back to you. One revelation that completely transformed my relationship with money was understanding that gratitude functions as an energetic accelerator. Whenever I express genuine appreciation for what I already have, even in moments of apparent lack, I activate a powerful magnetic force that draws more wealth toward me. The mind cannot simultaneously hold gratitude and scarcity, so choosing gratitude automatically elevates your financial frequency. Now, the impact of these principles extends far beyond just attracting more money. When you operate from abundance consciousness, your decisions become clearer, relationships improve, and creative solutions emerge naturally. It's a complete paradigm shift that affects every aspect of your existence. If what I'm sharing resonates with your experiences or intuition, write in the comments, "I'm tuning into abundance now." This will not only affirm your commitment to this wealth frequency, but also energetically declare to the universe your readiness to receive. Energy truly is your ultimate resource, and I want you to imagine it like a sacred bank account that influences every area of your life, especially your finances. Most people, though, are constantly operating in an energetic deficit, making withdrawals without ever replenishing their reserves. This hidden pattern silently sabotages their financial stability. When you start treating your energy as the precious commodity it really is, a remarkable transformation begins. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how successful people seem to have boundless energy for their projects, while those struggling financially often feel depleted? This isn't coincidence. It's a fundamental principle of wealth generation that few discuss openly. The marketplace rewards those who bring vitality and focused attention to their work. When you approach opportunities with a full energetic reservoir, you literally become magnetic to money. Your decisions become sharper, your creativity flows more freely, and people naturally want to collaborate with you, all because you're operating from a place of energetic abundance rather than depletion. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by revealing the invisible connection between your daily energy management and your income potential. Every time you say yes to something that drains you without adequate compensation, you're essentially teaching the world that your energy isn't valuable. Every time you allow energy vampires to monopolize your attention without boundaries, you're programming your subconscious to accept less than you deserve financially. This revelation changed everything for me when I realized my financial struggles weren't just about strategy or knowledge. They were reflections of how I valued my own life force. The journey toward financial freedom isn't just about earning more. It's about honoring the energy you bring to every interaction and exchange. Behind the scenes of every financial breakthrough is a prior decision to claim ownership of personal energy. Those who protect their vitality create natural boundaries that others respect. When you value your energy first, people subconsciously get the message that your time, attention, and services must be valuable too. This subtle shift creates a ripple effect that influences how others perceive what you offer. The hidden truth is that your relationship with money mirrors your relationship with energy. When you're comfortable giving away your energy for free, you'll likely struggle with charging what you're worth. When you exhaust yourself without renewal practices, you'll find it hard to maintain the momentum needed for long-term wealth building. The impact of this mindset shift can be immediate. I've seen people double their income within months simply by becoming fiercely protective of where their energy flows. This isn't about becoming selfish, it's about becoming intentional. It's about understanding that your financial potential is directly proportional to how well you steward your personal energy resources. Consider the decisions you make daily. Are you investing your energy in activities that deplete you without return? Are you surrounding yourself with people who leave you feeling energized or drained? The answers to these questions often predict your financial trajectory more accurately than any budget or business plan. If you're resonating with what I'm sharing, type energy wealth in the comments below. I'm curious to see who else has made this connection between protecting their vital energy and creating greater financial abundance. When we think about conserving our energy reserves, there's a fascinating shift that needs to happen in our approach. Rather than pushing and forcing outcomes through sheer will, I've discovered that allowing possibilities to unfold naturally creates a much more powerful impact. The mindset transformation here is subtle but profound. It's about creating space for opportunities rather than chasing them down exhaustively. Think about it as the difference between rowing upstream versus navigating with the current. So many of us have been conditioned to believe that value comes exclusively from effort, struggle, and the constant output of energy. But what if the most significant breakthroughs actually emerge when we're in a receptive state instead? This brings me to a hidden truth that changed everything for me. Receiving isn't an automatic right we're born with. It's actually a skill that requires development. When I first encountered this concept, it seemed counterintuitive. Surely everyone knows how to receive, right? Yet when I began observing patterns in my life and in those around me, I noticed something remarkable. Many people, especially high achievers, have become masters at giving, but unconsciously resist receiving on a fundamental level. The resistance shows up in curious ways: deflecting compliments, feeling uncomfortable when someone does something nice for you without expecting anything in return, or even sabotaging opportunities that would bring abundance into your life. These are all symptoms of an underdeveloped receiving capacity. I started to recognize these patterns in myself, noticing how I would immediately think about what I could give back whenever someone offered me anything, as if there needed to be an immediate energetic balance. But here's the revelation that changed everything. The universe operates in cycles of giving and receiving. When we block our ability to receive, we actually disrupt this natural flow. Imagine a lung that can exhale perfectly but struggles to inhale. The entire respiratory system would eventually collapse. This is what happens energetically when we're all output and no input. The journey toward becoming a skilled receiver starts with awareness. Notice how you react when good things come your way. Do you immediately feel you don't deserve them? Do you quickly look for ways to pay back the kindness? These are clues that your receiving channels might need some attention and recalibration. I began practicing small acts of gracious receiving, fully accepting a compliment with a simple thank you instead of deflecting, allowing someone to help me without immediately planning how. To reciprocate, and most challenging of all, receiving abundance without feeling guilty about it. The impact this had on my energy levels was immediate and profound. When you stop resisting what wants to flow naturally toward you, you actually conserve tremendous amounts of energy that would otherwise be spent in that resistance. There's also a beautiful domino effect that happens. When you become comfortable receiving, you actually empower others to give. Think about it. How does it feel when you offer something heartfelt to someone and they genuinely, joyfully receive it? There's a special kind of fulfillment there that completes the circle of exchange. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring how this receiving capacity actually creates a foundation for sustainable success in ways most traditional achievement models completely overlook. The mindset shift from forced action to aligned reception doesn't just conserve energy, it actually amplifies your impact while requiring less effort. If anything I've shared resonates with you so far, write in the comments, "I'm learning to receive." I'd love to know how many of you are recognizing this pattern in yourselves too. This understanding shifted everything for me. When we look at nature, nothing is hoarding or worried about tomorrow. The stream doesn't fear running dry, it simply flows. Birds don't stockpile worms worried about next week's shortage. This natural abundance is our original state, not something we need to manufacture through stress and strain. What's fascinating is how gratitude creates a magnetic field around us. I noticed this transformation in my own journey. When I began focusing on appreciating what I already had, my health, relationships, opportunities, something unexpected happened. The anxiety about what I lacked began to dissolve. This wasn't just emotional relief, it actually changed what showed up in my life. There's something profoundly powerful about the internal shift from "I need to get more" to "I already have enough and more is naturally flowing." This isn't wishful thinking, it's a fundamental realignment with how energy works in the universe. The vibration of appreciation attracts similar frequencies. It's like tuning your personal radio to the abundance channel instead of the scarcity station. Think about how different it feels to approach life from these two mindsets. When we operate from lack, we're constantly in pursuit mode, exhausting ourselves, chasing what seems forever out of reach. There's a desperation in our pursuit that actually pushes away the very things we're seeking. This creates a hidden barrier between ourselves and prosperity. The revelation that changed everything for me was understanding that wealth isn't something I need to chase or create through force. Rather, it's something I allow to flow by removing the internal obstacles I've built against it. These obstacles are often unconscious. Beliefs about not deserving, fears about losing what we gain, or the subtle conviction that struggle is necessary for reward. When we release these limiting perspectives, we experience a profound internal liberation. Suddenly, opportunities appear that were invisible before. People are drawn to our energy. Resources find their way to us through unexpected channels. This isn't mystical coincidence, it's the natural result of aligning with abundance rather than fighting against perceived scarcity. The Subtlety here is important. This shift isn't about denying real-world challenges or suggesting that material needs aren't important. Instead, it's recognizing that our starting point matters tremendously. When we approach life's challenges from a foundation of grateful abundance rather than fearful lack, we access creative solutions and possibilities that simply weren't available in our previous mindset. I've witnessed this transformation countless times, both in my life and others. There's a particular quality that emerges, a lightness, an ease, a flow, that stands in stark contrast to the heaviness of constant striving. This ease doesn't mean we stop taking action. Rather, our actions come from a different source. They're inspired rather than desperate, guided rather than forced. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic and explore how this principle plays out in concrete situations and decisions we face daily. There's a practical wisdom here that transforms not just how we feel about wealth, but how we actually experience it in our lived reality. If you've ever felt this shift from scarcity to abundance in your own life, even momentarily, type "the flow has begun" in the comments. I'd love to hear about your experience with this powerful transition. Beyond the visible mechanics of manifestation lies a truth many manifestation teachers omit. Your energetic field is constantly communicating with the universe. When you approach abundance with internal resistance, even while practicing all the right manifestation techniques, you're sending mixed signals into the quantum field. Think about how you learned about money as a child. Perhaps you overheard statements like, "We can't afford that," or "Money doesn't grow on trees." These seemingly innocuous phrases became embedded in your energetic memory, creating invisible barriers to receiving abundance. This unconscious programming isn't just mental, it's vibrational. The journey toward true abundance requires a complete energetic recalibration. This isn't about positive thinking alone. It's about aligning your entire energetic signature with prosperity consciousness. When you attempt to manifest from a place of lack or desperation, you're actually reinforcing the very frequency of scarcity you're trying to escape. I've observed a fascinating pattern in my work with clients seeking financial transformation. Those who experience the most dramatic breakthroughs aren't necessarily doing more affirmations or visualization exercises. They've simply released their attachment to specific outcomes. This surrender creates an energetic permission slip for the universe to deliver in ways that often exceed their original desires. The universe operates through paradox. When you desperately need a miracle, you energetically push it away. But when you release the need for that specific miracle, entering a state of grateful acceptance for what is, you become a clear channel through which abundance can flow unimpeded. This isn't spiritual bypassing. It's understanding the subtle mechanics of universal law. Many people approach manifestation like they're ordering from a cosmic menu, focusing intensely on what they want. Yet the hidden revelation is that manifestation is less about what you want and more about who you're being energetically. Your vibrational signature, the culmination of your thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and energy, creates a resonance that either attracts or repels abundance. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring how to recognize when you're operating from energetic resistance. The first clue is emotional. Feelings of frustration, anxiety, or impatience about your manifestations are indicators that you're energetically blocking the very thing you desire. The second sign appears in your language. Phrases like, "I need this to happen," or "Why isn't this working yet?" reveal attachment rather than alignment. The journey to abundance consciousness requires courage to face these resistance patterns. You must be willing to examine the energetic inheritance you've carried, perhaps for generations. Many of us are unconsciously living out our ancestors' relationship with money and prosperity, repeating patterns that were never ours to begin with. Real transformation begins when you start making decisions from your future abundant self rather than your current circumstances. This creates an energetic bridge between where you are and where you're headed. Each choice becomes an opportunity to align with abundance consciousness rather than scarcity thinking. As we evolve in understanding these principles, remember that the universe responds not to what you say you want, but to the energetic truth you embody. The space between your current reality and your desired manifestation isn't just about time, it's about energetic alignment. When you match the frequency of what you desire, resistance dissolves and allowing begins. If you're resonating with this perspective on energetic manifestation, write in the comments, "I'm releasing resistance," and notice how even this simple acknowledgement begins shifting your relationship with abundance. When we feel that familiar twinge of envy watching someone's success story unfold on social media, we're actually experiencing something profound, a mirror reflecting back our own untapped capabilities. That feeling isn't telling you they have what you can't have. It's your soul whispering, you recognize this achievement because it exists within your realm of possibility too. Think about it. We don't envy things that seem utterly impossible to us. I've never envied a bird's ability to fly or a fish's talent for breathing underwater because my mind doesn't register these as realistic options. The envy only surfaces when we see someone claiming something we deeply believe, perhaps subconsciously, could be ours as well. This perspective transforms envy, from a shadow to a spotlight, illuminating the path of our own potential journey. Each time you feel that reflexive jealousy towards someone's new house, thriving relationship, or creative breakthrough, you're receiving valuable intelligence about your own desires and capabilities. It's like your internal GPS, highlighting destinations that are absolutely within your reach. The transformational shift happens when we convert that envy into genuine celebration, when you genuinely congratulate someone on their victory without the bitter aftertaste of comparison. Something remarkable occurs in your energetic field. You're essentially telling the universe, I am ready to welcome this same frequency into my life. This isn't some mystical concept, it's practical psychology. When we bless others' achievements, we reprogram our subconscious from scarcity to abundance thinking. We move from seeing success as a limited resource that others are depleting to recognizing it as an infinite wellspring available to all who align themselves correctly. I discovered this hidden truth during my own journey through professional disappointments. Watching peers advance while I seemed stuck became increasingly painful until I realized my resentment was adding unnecessary weight to my already difficult climb. The moment I began sincerely celebrating their wins, not just with hollow words, but with authentic joy, my perspective expanded beyond my narrow circumstances. Behind the scenes of every overnight success lies this same fundamental revelation. Abundance consciousness precedes material abundance. Those who appear most blessed often mastered this principle first, finding genuine happiness in others' good fortune before experiencing their own. The practical application is surprisingly simple, yet profoundly impactful. Next time someone in your field achieves something you desire, catch yourself in that moment of comparison. Feel the envy fully, acknowledge it, then consciously redirect it into genuine blessing. Say out loud, I'm so happy for them. Their achievement shows what's possible for someone like me too. This mindset shift doesn't just feel better, it literally aligns your consciousness with the frequency of what you desire. It removes the energetic blocks created by resentment and opens channels for similar opportunities to flow toward you. Many call this good karma, but it's really about psychological and spiritual alignment with your goals. Now, I want to Go even deeper into how this principle manifests in specific areas of life, from career advancement to relationships to creative pursuits. Because once you understand how to apply this counterintuitive wisdom consistently, you'll notice opportunities appearing that seemed impossibly distant before. If this approach to handling envy resonates with your experience, write "abundance mindset" in the comments below. I'm curious how many of you have already discovered this principle in your own lives. Our money journey goes deeper than transaction ledgers and investment portfolios. It's actually a profound reflection of our inner landscape. When you embrace gratitude in your financial experience, you're not just saying thank you for what you have. You're actually creating an energetic foundation that can sustain wealth for the long term. Think about the moments when money flows easily into your life. There's a particular feeling that accompanies that experience, isn't there? A lightness, an openness, a stark contrast to the heavy, contracted energy of financial worry. This isn't just emotional, it's energetic. And gratitude is the master key that unlocks this expansive state. I've witnessed remarkable transformations when people shift from viewing money as scarce to seeing it as a flowing expression of universal abundance. One client of mine struggled for years with a feast or famine business cycle. She'd attract money, then subconsciously push it away through unexpected expenses or self-sabotage. The hidden truth was that she didn't feel worthy of sustained prosperity. Her breakthrough came when she began a daily practice of acknowledging specific financial blessings, however small. Within months, her income stabilized as her energetic relationship with money transformed. What's happening beneath the surface is powerful. When you operate from a place of inherent worth, rather than needing to prove yourself, you shift your entire financial vibration. Money becomes less about validation and more about expression of your value, your gifts, your contribution to the world. This subtle but crucial mindset revelation changes everything. The universe doesn't respond to desperation. It responds to resonance. Think about water. When you clench your fist to hold it, it slips through your fingers. When you open your palm, it can pool there. Your relationship with money works in much the same way. This journey toward financial wholeness isn't always linear. There will be tests along the way, opportunities to demonstrate your new understanding. Perhaps an unexpected bill arrives just when you're practicing abundance thinking. These moments aren't punishments, but invitations to deeper integration. Can you maintain your gratitude practice even when circumstances appear challenging? Behind the scenes of financial success stories, you'll almost always find people who've mastered this energetic alignment. They're not necessarily smarter or working harder than everyone else. They've simply learned to harmonize their inner worth with outer prosperity. They operate from sufficiency rather than deficit. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring how this energetic approach to money transforms not just what you attract, but also how you manage what you already have. Because the energy with which you receive directly influences the way you steward your resources. People who feel genuinely deserving of abundance tend to make wiser financial decisions, not from fear or scarcity, but from a place of conscious choice and responsibility. The impact of this shift extends beyond your bank account. Your relationship with money affects your relationships with people, your health, and your capacity to contribute meaningfully to causes you care about. Money amplifies who you already are. If you're fearful, money will give you more to fear. If you're generous of spirit, money will expand your capacity for giving. When you begin operating from this understanding, you notice subtle shifts in your day-to-day experience. Opportunities align more naturally with your path. Resources appear when needed. You find yourself making decisions from inspiration rather than desperation. This isn't magical thinking. It's the natural outcome of energetic coherence. If something about this perspective resonates with you, write in the comments, "I'm ready for financial alignment." This acknowledgement is more than just words. It's a declaration to yourself and the universe about your willingness to transform your relationship with prosperity. The impact of joy on our prosperity journey runs deeper than most personal development experts acknowledge. When we choose joy as our compass rather than struggle, we're actually reprogramming our neurological pathways to recognize opportunities that were always present but previously invisible to us. This isn't wishful thinking. It's a profound paradigm shift, backed by fascinating research in cognitive psychology and quantum mechanics. Think about the last time you tried to force a solution while feeling stressed or desperate. How did that work out? Contrast that with moments where inspiration struck while you were relaxed, engaged in something you love. The difference is striking. When we're joyful, our creative problem-solving abilities expand exponentially. We're literally accessing different parts of our brain. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring the hidden mechanism behind joy's prosperity attracting power: state-dependent cognition. When you're in a joyful state, you're activating your brain's default mode network, the same neural circuitry that lights up during moments of brilliant insight and innovation. This is why so many breakthrough ideas come during relaxed states, rather than when we're grinding away in desperate determination. What makes this revelation so transformative is that it completely inverts the traditional success formula. The old paradigm tells us that achievement leads to happiness. First succeed, then you'll feel good. But the neurological evidence suggests the reverse is actually true. Happiness and joy precede and facilitate achievement. By prioritizing joyful states, you're not being irresponsible or naive. You're strategically positioning yourself for prosperity. The mindset shift required here is substantial. We've been conditioned to believe that anything worthwhile requires suffering, but this outdated belief system is actually sabotaging our progress. When you observe truly prosperous individuals, not just financially wealthy, but holistically abundant, you'll notice they've mastered the art of finding joy in their journey. Their work feels like play. Their challenges energize rather than deplete them. This joy-first approach creates a powerful feedback loop. As you choose activities aligned with your genuine enthusiasm, you enter flow states more consistently. In flow, your productivity skyrockets, while effort diminishes. You attract collaborators who resonate with your elevated energy. Opportunities that perfectly match your unique gifts seem to materialize coincidentally. But there's nothing coincidental about it. You've simply tuned your frequency to receive what was always available. The journey toward prosperity through joy requires courage, perhaps more courage than the struggle path. It demands that you trust your internal guidance system over external validation. It asks you to release the identity of the hard worker, the hustler, the grinder, and embrace the identity of the inspired creator, the joyful contributor, the aligned manifester. This identity revolution might feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you've been praised throughout your life for your capacity to endure difficulty. What's particularly fascinating is how this joy-centered approach affects not just your personal prosperity, but ripples outward to transform relationships, communities, and even organizations. When you operate from joy, you become a living invitation for others to do the same. Your presence becomes a permission slip for authentic expression and aligned action. The impact extends far beyond your personal abundance. Of course, choosing joy doesn't mean bypassing legitimate emotions or pretending difficulties don't exist. That would be toxic positivity, not authentic joy. True joy has depth. It encompasses the full spectrum of human experience while maintaining an underlying current of appreciation for the journey itself. It's about finding meaning and delight, even within challenges, not denying that challenges exist. If you're resonating with this perspective on joy as a shortcut to prosperity, write "joy first, prosperity follows" in the comments. Now, I want to share some practical applications of this principle that might surprise you. This fundamental reframing of life shows us that creating prosperity isn't some foreign concept we need to force into existence. It's actually aligned with the universe's natural flow. Think about it. In nature, we see continuous cycles of giving and receiving. Trees release oxygen, we breathe it in and exhale carbon dioxide, which plants then use. Nothing in nature hoards or restricts. There's a constant dance of exchange and abundance. When we encounter obstacles on our journey, they aren't random roadblocks meant to frustrate us. They're calibrated challenges designed to strengthen precisely the muscles we'll need for holding greater wealth. It's similar to how a personal trainer doesn't randomly assign exercises, but carefully selects ones that build your capacity in targeted ways. I've noticed in my own journey that the universe has an uncanny way of presenting exactly the challenges I need to face before a breakthrough occurs. That difficult client who tested my boundaries. They were preparing me to establish healthy parameters with much bigger accounts. The unexpected expense that stretched my budget, it taught me resource management skills I'd need when handling much larger sums. Behind the scenes of wealth creation lies this hidden truth. Prosperity isn't something we chase, but something we allow to flow through us by removing the blockages. These blockages often take the form of limiting beliefs we've absorbed from our environment, ideas that money is scarce, that wealth is immoral, or that we're somehow undeserving of abundance. What makes this mindset shift so transformative is that it changes our relationship with action itself. Rather than frantically pursuing money through hustle and struggle, we take aligned actions that open channels for wealth to flow naturally. There's a profound difference between desperate action and inspired movement. Let me share something that revolutionized my approach. I began seeing myself not as someone trying to get money, but as a conduit through which abundance could flow to benefit others. This subtle reframe created a paradigm shift in how I approached my work and relationships with others. The journey to prosperity isn't linear. It's a spiral of expansion and contraction, of lessons learned and wisdom applied. Each challenge reveals another layer of our own resistance to receiving. Each breakthrough illuminates our capacity to serve at higher levels, which naturally attracts greater resources. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by examining how our earliest money memories create subconscious patterns that either block or enhance our wealth attraction. These formative experiences shape our financial DNA in ways most people never realize, yet understanding them provides the key to profound transformation. If what I've described resonates with your experience of wealth creation as a natural process rather than a forced pursuit, write in the comments, "I'm aligning with abundance," so I know we're on the same wavelength about this profound shift in perspective. Money responds to your invisible, internal drivers, not to your visible actions. When I first discovered this distinction, it revolutionized my approach to wealth. Consider this. Two people can follow identical investment strategies, work the same hours, even pursue identical business models. Yet their financial outcomes often differ dramatically. What's really happening behind this disparity? Your unconscious relationship with money essentially emits a frequency that either attracts or repels wealth. It's similar to how we instinctively sense when someone isn't being authentic with us. The universe responds to your genuine financial identity, not the persona you present to others or even to yourself. This internal transformation reveals something profound. Your current financial reality isn't a reflection of your worth or intelligence, but rather your hidden money identity. When I began working with clients on their wealth consciousness, I noticed how their invisible barriers would manifest as external Circumstances. A client would tell me, I keep hitting income plateaus, unaware that they held deep beliefs about the appropriate amount of money someone in their position should earn. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring how your subconscious mind actually creates these financial boundaries. Your early experiences with money, whether witnessing your parents' anxieties or absorbing cultural messages, have created an internal financial blueprint that now operates below your conscious awareness. This blueprint isn't just psychological, it manifests through subtle behaviors and decisions that either align with abundance or perpetuate limitation. The fascinating journey from scarcity to abundance requires a decisive break with your past financial identity. Think of it as a rebirth process. The person struggling financially must die, in a sense, making room for the emergence of your abundant self. This metamorphosis often creates internal resistance. The discomfort of leaving behind familiar patterns, even painful ones. What's particularly revealing about this process is how we often sabotage our own success when it begins to challenge our established identity. Have you noticed how many people make significant financial progress only to experience a sudden reversal or emergency that returns them to their financial status quo? This isn't coincidence. It's your system maintaining equilibrium with your deeply held financial identity. The untold reality is that financial love, not effort, creates the foundation for lasting wealth. By financial love, I mean a genuine, comfortable relationship with money that's free from resentment, fear, or attachment. When you develop this relationship, you'll witness how financial opportunities seem to find you rather than you chasing after them. The universe responds to this authentic alignment by opening pathways that previously remained invisible. Breaking through these invisible barriers requires more than affirmations or visualization techniques. It demands a fundamental rewiring of your relationship with wealth, recognizing and releasing the hidden vows of financial limitation you may have unconsciously made. The transformation happens in those quiet moments when you catch yourself in old thought patterns and consciously choose a different response. The journey to financial abundance involves seeing beyond the surface-level metrics of success to understand the deeper currents that either support or undermine your prosperity. As you integrate these insights, you'll notice subtle shifts in how you perceive opportunities, make decisions, and interact with money in all its forms. If anything I've shared resonates with your own financial journey, write "I'm reclaiming my wealth identity" in the comments below. This simple declaration can be a powerful first step in acknowledging your commitment to transformation. What you may not realize about abundance is that it operates on a completely different wavelength than what most financial gurus preach. It's not some mystical force that randomly selects worthy recipients. Rather, abundance is the natural state of being that emerges when we remove the internal barriers we've constructed against receiving it. I've seen this transformation happen time and again. People who lived their entire lives believing they were somehow unworthy of prosperity, suddenly experiencing a profound shift in their circumstances. This journey toward abundance isn't about becoming someone new. It's about returning to who you truly are beneath all those limiting beliefs. Think about water. It doesn't struggle to flow downhill. That's simply its nature. Similarly, prosperity doesn't need to be forced. It needs to be allowed. I remember working with a woman named Melissa who had built a successful career but constantly found herself in financial distress despite earning well above average. During our work together, we uncovered a childhood memory where her father had told her that people like us don't get to have nice things. This single statement had become the unconscious operating system for her entire financial life. The revelation was powerful. Her financial struggles weren't due to lack of knowledge or effort, but stemmed from this deeply embedded belief that prosperity wasn't her birthright. The hidden truth here is profound. The universe isn't withholding abundance from you. Your own belief systems are the gatekeepers. When you examine your relationship with money, you'll often find it mirrors your deepest beliefs about what you deserve in life. This isn't about positive thinking or affirmations. It's about archaeological work within your own psyche. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring what I call the abundance paradox. Many people approach wealth with a scarcity mindset, dressed in abundance clothing. They say they want prosperity while simultaneously believing that money is the root of all evil, that wealthy people are inherently unethical, or that there's nobility in financial struggle. These contradictions create an internal tug-of-war that makes consistent prosperity impossible. The decision to embrace abundance isn't made once. It's made daily, sometimes hourly, as you encounter situations that trigger old beliefs. Each time you choose to see yourself as inherently worthy of prosperity, you strengthen new neural pathways in your brain. This is why the journey toward abundance feels so much like rewiring your fundamental identity, because that's exactly what's happening. What fascinates me most is how this inner realignment inevitably creates external shifts. I've watched clients who made this internal shift suddenly receive unexpected opportunities, reconnect with long-lost contacts who provided exactly the right connection, or discover solutions that were hiding in plain sight all along. The shift in perception literally changes what becomes visible to you in the world. But let's be crystal clear, accepting your right to abundance doesn't mean you'll never face challenges or setbacks. The path isn't linear. What changes is how you interpret those challenges, no longer as evidence that you don't deserve prosperity, but simply as information that helps you refine your approach. Abundance doesn't discriminate based on your background, education, or current circumstances. It responds to alignment. When your beliefs, actions, and energy field all point in the same direction, resistance dissolves and flow begins. This is the subtle art of allowing rather than forcing, a concept that runs counter to much of what we've been taught about achievement. If you're resonating with this perspective on abundance, drop a comment below saying, "I'm reclaiming my birthright." I'd love to know how this understanding is shifting your relationship with prosperity. You know, if you've stayed with me through this exploration of abundance, you're probably feeling something shift inside. That gentle nudge of recognition, perhaps. That's your deeper self, acknowledging a truth it's always known. I'd love to continue this journey with you through more conversations like this one. If what we've discussed today has resonated with you, consider subscribing to the channel. These aren't just videos. They're invitations to remember who you truly are beneath all the conditioning. If something in particular clicked for you today, I'd be grateful if you'd share it in the comments with the phrase, "I'm reclaiming my birthright." Your insight might be exactly what someone else needs to read right now. And if you found value in our time together, a simple like helps more people discover this conversation. There's another piece to this abundance puzzle waiting for you in the video that's appearing now. It builds beautifully on what we've explored today. Click through when you're ready, and I'll meet you there to continue unfolding this journey together.